Joining.
Here we go. Getting everybody jumped in here. Good to see everyone. Hey, hi, Sharon. And Louise. Good morning, Louise. Wait a second. I know it is not morning for you. Yeah. Hi, Paul. Good to see everyone. We're going to give it a second. Let everyone jump in here. I had several people signing up. Hey, Jeremy. I Hey, Karina. Hi, how are you? Awesome. Good to see you. All right. So as we get this going, we're going to give it a minute. Does anybody have any great drone story to share? Hi, John. How are you? Yep, you popped off. There you go.
Hey, everybody.
Awesome. Awesome. So, really quick, like this is all about networking. So I encourage you right now, throw your name into the chat, your email if you want to connect with others. Tell us a little bit about yourself because this is networking and connecting, right? All right. And so we do to follow the chat. And normally I have Sheila running behind the scenes here helping me, but right now Sheila can't hear me or see or speak back. So she's having a little bit of technical difficulties, but that's okay. I do have a couple of announcements to make. And so before we get this ball rolling, I want to make sure that I do let everyone in here because it's really great to see everybody. And I know everyone's excited for our spotlight speaker today. And there we go. Let everybody in from the waiting room. Awesome. So I don't see any great drone stories going into our chat. Right? There we go. Louise, she put her contact information in there. Anybody get out and fly this last weekend? It's all about flying, right? Somebody's got to have a story. I saw somebody's chat image earlier of the Northern Lights. How amazing is that? There's Chanel. All right, Chanel. Hey, by the way, Chanel does do videography and editing for other people as well. She was a spotlight speaker at one time. Yeah, now we got that chat going on. Good to see everybody. We like it active. That's what it's all about, right? Okay, with that, I am going to do a big shout out to my sponsor, which is Professor Drones. If you have not heard of Professor Drones, I am going to put a link in there to the website because they design, develop, audit, and teach all about drones and they incorporate AI, all kinds of great stuff. Very, very knowledgeable in the industry. And so I'm going to put a link in there to Professor Drones. All right, put that in there. And looks like, hi, Parker, how are you? Yeah, I know Parker's got some drone stories. He flies all the time. He's amazing. If you have not looked at some of the work that Parker has done, incredible 3D models, just incredible. All right, with that, I am going to segue over to our spotlight speaker. We're so excited to have her here. Okay, we're going to let a few more people in. And I know that's why everybody is here today. And if you wanted to know about billboard marketing, and this will include drones, what a perfect opportunity for drones as well. We're going to hear from Jennifer House, who is the project manager for SignBird. I met her many years ago. It's actually been, I think, over a year ago now. And it's been wonderful knowing her. And she's so knowledgeable, not only about the sign industry, but drones. And it's so nice to work with somebody that knows about drones and drone operations as well. So, Jennifer, I'm going to make you spotlight for everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today. And spotlight for everyone. I know we're excited to have you. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello, everyone.
So, I know you have a PowerPoint presentation. We're still letting people jump in here, and so things are still kicking off. But you have a PowerPoint presentation. Do you want to jump right into that, or do you want to share a little bit about your career path and how you got to be part of SignBird?
Sure. I can do that prior to the slideshow. I was a production manager in the reality television realm for many years, and I was just looking for something still connected to production in some capacity, but a little bit more stable, if that makes sense, other than freelance. I was looking to get back towards where my family is from and just be close to them as well, and still keep that kind of passion for production management, project management, and being connected to production. And this wonderful opportunity arose and with SignBird, and I joined them as a project coordinator. And then I moved to project manager, I think it was late last year, and just took off from there.
No pun intended, right? Oh, we always make fun puns, don't we? Awesome, awesome. Well, you should be able to share your screen and do the PowerPoint presentation. So I know we're excited to hear about it and see what SignBird is all about.
Get this going here. Okay, can everyone see?
It is perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so this is another little pun, I guess, the SignBird chirp. It's just giving a little breakdown of SignBird. There we go. This is me, Jennifer House. I am project manager here at SignBird. So I would be the one reaching out to the drone pilots and our clients across the country. It's actually across North America. We're starting to stretch into Canada now, which is exciting for us. So this is my email. I'm also going to send you, Desi, I'll share a flyer with you at the end with all of our information if there's a way to get that to everyone as well, if needed.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we can definitely do that.
So first we will talk about who is SignBird. So like Desi said, we cater to the out-of-home industry, which is mostly billboard owners. We do anything from your roadway billboard, any on-premise signs, anything like that. We provide them with great photos and videos of their assets to help them better sell their ad space. So we shoot really great video. Desi did something for us out in Moreno Valley, like she said a few years ago, and that was really, really great. We had great feedback on that one. So we put together a marketing package. It's about a 1-minute video, and then we give them edited photos and what is called in the industry a ride sheet, which is basically just a flyer with a photo and all of the information of that board. What our goal is to show the traffic going past that board so that advertiser or that billboard owner can say, hey, we'll say if it's Nike, hey, Nike, look how many people are passing this board. You could put your ad here. These are our daily or weekly impressions. And that helps them better sell that ad space on either that digital board or even a vinyl board. And then these are our services. So we have 4 right now that we focus on mainly. Our SignBird marketing package, which is what I explained just a second ago, which you would get a 1-minute video, the photo, ground and aerial photos, and that ride sheet. And this is where our drone operators come in, and we would reach out to you. We do have a pilot network we like to keep up with, and I'll share that link as well in that flyer. So hopefully if you guys are interested in onboarding with us, we would love to have the more the merrier. So we have that. We have something called SignBird Footprint, which is all ground photos. And that's just photos of this, a billboard company could reach out to us and say, hey, I want you to take photos of all of our assets across, our whole range. And we'll go out and do those ground photos for them so they can use that in their marketing materials as well. We're starting to get into inspection photos. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with like cell tower inspections. It's very similar to that. You're just taking every aspect, every angle of that billboard structure from the base of the pole to the top, to the catwalk, to the back of it, everything. So we're starting to do that as well, which is exciting. And then we do have a sports package that we do from time to time. It's for mostly high school sports when they have the digital scoreboards on their fields. And we put together a little marketing package for them that states how many people are in the audience, how many games they have every season, basically how many eyes are on that so they can get advertisers for their school. And then these are some examples. Traffic is super important, especially for our out of home. So the top picture with the traffic, that's actually going into Midtown Atlanta. So you don't get any better than that usually with traffic, other than LA, I'm sure. So this board you want to have, it's kind of, we call this a cross read. And typically we want ground photos for this as well, but we would never ask one of our pilots to stand on the side of this road. So he replicated our ground photos with his drone in this capacity. And then the one with the bears in it, that is one of our sport shoots. And then the bottom is one of our footprint. You can see that one's from the ground and it's showing the traffic going by with a nice photo of that billboard. We do shoot a lot of digital boards, which comes with their own challenges. You have to get everything right for it to look as good as the bottom photo is a static photo or a static board. So you want it to look as clear as that board. So that one on the top with all of the traffic going by is a digital. Our pilot did very well with that one and got it super clear. And then this is what I mean by it's hard to shoot a digital board. If you see the one that has Lamar, you can see the pixels in that line or in the face of that board. And it's just pretty tough to shoot. You just kind of have to get those settings right. You can use your ND filters, any polarizers you have, camera settings, and just sheer distance from the board that out quite well as well. And the other ones are just kind of one's dark and one's light. And the other one with the one call, that's all ad. That was actually a service road. It should have been taken from the interstate. So that's one of the biggest things that we want is we want it from the largest road of traffic. So if there's an interstate and then a service road, we want from the interstate, of course. And then our deliverables. We don't ask for anything that's, I think, out of the ordinary. As far as drone video, it's the pretty standard zoom in, zoom out, pretty basic shots, the half circle. The drive-by video is the one that sometimes is a little a bit of a hang up. We do ask you to have a GoPro attached either to the outside of your car, some kind of action camera. You can use a DSLR if you have an exterior mount for it, or your drone as well, whichever, but that is what we need to throw our stuff together. And the biggest thing that John, who is on this call, always says to our pilots and what we try to express to them is you want to put yourself in the shoes of that advertiser. So if you were working for one of these large corporations wanting to buy ad space and you see these photos and you have a road that has no traffic on it, the board looks great, but there's no traffic. Would you want to buy that ad or buy that space on that board? More likely than not, no. In that case, so you just kind of have to put yourself in the shoes of that advertiser and see if that, when you're shooting, if that's something that you would want to buy. And then this is for shooting the digital screens. I don't know how many people here have shot digital screens. The industry I came from previously, we avoided shooting screens like it was the plague. That was just, you avoid shooting a cell phone, shooting a computer, anything like that. But when I joined SignBird, they had already gotten that science down pretty well. And we've really honed it in over the few years that I've been here. And our pilots are great. They troubleshoot on site. Desi, you could speak more actively to that, I'm sure. But just having those ND filters, the polarizers, and your camera settings and distance will help tremendously. And then I think that's it. I know that was a short one, but we have Q&A time. If anyone has questions about SignBird or anything.
So I have a list of questions. I encourage anybody to put some questions into the chat. Feel free to open up the mic, talk. This is a great opportunity, especially for drone pilots, because you, Jennifer, you're trying to expand your network, correct?
That's right.
So if someone was to want to come and apply, what is the best method for doing that? Now, I did, just as a FYI, it looks like John said thanks for the shout out and put some information in there for you. I also put in your link and your email so that if somebody needed to reach out. But if somebody was going to try to apply and become a pilot for you, what is that process?
Yeah, so we have a pilot onboarding link that we have, and either John, if you don't mind, sharing that in the chat, or I'll have that on that flyer as well. That
I
we
got
can.
it. I'm going to put it in there right now.
Thank you.
We need to make John part of this team right here.
You can run across the hall, John, if you want to run in here. But so what we'll do is we have this pilot onboarding link there that John just shared, and you click on there. It'll ask you where your home address is, your home base, how far you're willing to travel from that home base. And then it'll give you an FAA upload. We do have an independent contractor agreement that we will need to share with you guys, and I'll make sure everything is sent to you to properly do that. If you just email me as well, I can help you get those documents to upload. Let's see what he said. Oh, there it is. He was just, John was filling in that part. So we will upload that, and then we will just, it's just in our project management system. It doesn't mean that you have to take the job. We'll reach out to you first. So it's first right of refusal. So once you onboard into that, the pilot network, it'll ask you to upload your FAA license, a proof of insurance. I know a lot of pilots use a day of service. And what we ask you to do is just upload the most recent certificate that you've pulled for another job or whatever you're comfortable to prove that you do get active daily or by job insurance.
So that just segues into a really good comment right there is, that was one of the things that I found so pleasurable about working with you. And I saw Jeremy said the same thing in there is, did you hear how she already knew pilots use day of? She knows the pain points of what pilots are going through. And that was one of the things that I thought was just so nice. Particularly, I'm going to do a shout out for working with you with the job that I did was you knew immediately elevation restrictions. You knew going into it and that authorizations were required. And so that just having that ground-based knowledge of what pilots have to deal with is just phenomenal. And I think you pride yourself in having that background knowledge.
That's right. Thank you for that. We do try to make it as easy for you as possible on that end. I just try to lay it out, and I've actually started inputting into that brief. We send a project brief for each project, and it will give you the exact coordinates of that board. It will give you a panel number, but it's not always on the board. And then we'll do a site reference photo for you to visually confirm you're on the right site. And I've actually started next to that coordinate, or each coordinate, if it's a multi-panel job, putting clear airspace or length needed, like that kind of thing, just to give you a visual like, oh, okay, I do need to check this really quickly just before you just head out thinking it's complete clear airspace, if that were ever a thing. I just wanted to kind of knock out as many roadblocks as we can.
Awesome. Awesome. So circling over to our chat, there is a lot of great conversation going on over there. What are some of the challenges the pilots run into?
I would say the biggest issue we run into is shooting the actual shooting of the digital board. That kind of creates its own roadblocks. We have had a few pilots. It's very rare since I joined SignBird at the end of 2022. I think I've only had 3, maybe 4 jobs where our pilots have said, hey, I showed up and the people, because the billboards, the owners don't own the actual, they own the little parcel that the pole is sitting on, but it could be at a gas station or something like that. So, the gas station manager may come out and be upset. So that very rarely happens. But that, it's never a negative, or always gonna happen to you. I would think the biggest issue would be shooting the actual digital screen and getting it. And then making sure you're there at the right time of day. We ask you for morning or evening rush hour. Sometimes for some reason, the rush hour is just not there as much as it was, but we do have to have traffic in every single shot. So that's another kind of hard point, I guess, that would be just waiting for that traffic to pass while you're there.
I would imagine it's very beneficial if you actually know the area. And if you've traveled the area before, you would know what some of those traffic patterns were. I know
Exactly.
from the travel route that I frequently take, my authorization because of the military airspace was for specifically a Sunday. But the good news is that freeway is very, very heavily very heavy with traffic. So, knowing those going into it is probably a good thing. There's another question in our chat, and I would imagine it varies based on the actual job that's at hand. But what is the average pay for the job opportunity?
Yeah, of course. So for the SignBird marketing packages, those typically take about an hour on site. So we looked into the national average for drone pilots for an hour, and we do $195 per hour. We do keep in mind if you have a range where you're like, I'll travel 500 miles for a job kind of thing, we do keep in mind for mileage, and we do the federal rate for that. Where needed. We do try to keep it kind of closer to home. So if something happens and you come back and you have to go reshoot, we don't want you to have to travel 500 miles again to go back and do that. So we do try to kind of keep it close to you. But 195 is our average for the SignBird marketing package. And for the footprint projects, those are typically larger projects because we are doing a whole inventory instead of 1 or 2 boards. And those are $25 per location.
Awesome. So more great questions in our chat. How much experience does the pilot actually need?
So we actually work with pilots who are just starting out. It's more or less, are you coachable to do what we need to do with the digital boards? We'll have a conversation with you and see how knowledgeable you are just to make sure. We have worked with pilots who are newer, and we've worked with pilots who have been doing it for multiple years as well. So we're open to any and every pilot.
Wonderful. Great questions. So I would like to know a little bit more. I know you're planning to expand. You had mentioned that, and hoping to expand into Canada and such. So what are some of those lofty goals that you have?
So we would love to reach into Canada. We've worked with a couple of companies there. We partner with a company out of Georgia, and they build the digital billboards themselves, and we will go shoot those. So we're hoping to kind of grow with them as well. We do want to dive a little more into sports on some level, as much as we can. We really enjoyed those kind of custom fun projects.
Oh, sounds so fun. So fun. Circling back over to some of the conversation that you had about knowing the ND filters and such. Can you dive a little bit deeper into some of the tips? Because filming an LED sign does require maybe a little bit more finesse.
Yeah, absolutely. So we typically share standard, all the boards are a little different. You're trying to match that refresh rate of that digital board. So they're always cycling and they refresh about 120. So we typically we recommend to start at 60 frames per second to try and knock it immediately in half, and then you adjust up and down from there. And if you use your ND filter, the ND filter really helps, but you'll have to keep an eye on your ISO as well. You don't want to go too high or else it's going to be way blown out, of course, or vice versa. So those are kind of, it's a play. We recommend kind of base settings. And once you start there, you kind of have to adjust and do a test run you know, a test photo or a test video clip really quick just to make sure that it's actually functioning properly.
Okay, so this is a big shout out to everyone that is here today. Who doesn't want to fly, right? So maybe go out and practice. This is a great one to practice. You know, you'll get that skill set, you get that time in, and you get to find out, okay, what settings are really working? What can I try? What filter works? Time of day. That will make a big difference as well. And so there's something to just go out and fly, right?
That's right.
So over in our chat, thank you, Sheila, for handling that doorbell that we keep hearing. And in our chat, Amy actually posted something that you might find very beneficial, and it's about the Commercial Drone Pilots group. It's on the Facebook group, and there you might have some opportunity to actually build out the network as well. And so there's a couple of thumbs up on that one. And then, okay, Roseanne, she's also a instructor at Grossmont College, and she's got a nice network that she's going to put this out to as well. You will be inundated with amazing pilots.
Awesome.
Right? And then, oh, fantastic question here from Karina. Does it matter about what camera payload that the drone operator has? And then the other question that is being blocked because of my happy faces in the way is about, do you supply the drone, or do you have a specific program for uploading the equipment, flying the job, that type of thing?
Yeah, so what we'll do, right now we're trying to build out our project management system. For that, you'll get an individual email from myself, or sometimes John will jump in also and help me with projects, which he's doing right now. Whenever we get very busy, which summer is our busy time because everything's green and pretty and everyone wants their nice photos. So right then we will send that immediate email out first. And then it'll be a back and forth. You can say, yes, I'll take this job, or no, I won't. And then you're always first right of refusal again. And we won't, no hard feelings. If you can't take on that job, we'll come back to you for the next one. We do not provide the drone. We do ask that our pilots have their drone. As long as you have, I think it's a Mavic, I believe, is our lowest. As long as you have the Mavic Air 2, John, is that correct? And up from there. We love 4K footage. As long as you have the 4K capabilities, that drone will be just fine, but we do not supply them. We do ask for you to have your own.
Awesome. Awesome. So a couple questions. I want to circle back to the that drone program that's in the Facebook. I don't, Amy would know more, but I don't believe it is. It's not on LinkedIn. It is only a Facebook group. Also, through Women in Drones, there's a area that we have job postings, and that would be a Sharon thing as well. So lots of great resources right here. All right. Oh, yep. Sheila said that it is not on LinkedIn. It is only a Facebook group. Can you tell me some of the safety hurdles that you either have implemented yourself or encourage the drone operator to follow through with?
Yeah, absolutely. So for ours, because we have those ground photos and that's typically obviously not the drone. We do ask that you have a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, something like that. We've had pilots float the drone, let me see if I can go back up to my past slide. So in the photo with all of the traffic heading and the board is over on the left side of the screen, it's the top left photo for myself. That one, that's a replication of our ground photo. We would prefer like in the bottom photo where he's on the grass, taking that photo across the road. That is our ground approach shot, or one of them. There's 3 different versions. You kind of walk yourself up the road or zoom in with your lens if you have a really good zoom lens. But we would never again ask our pilot to stand on the side of that interstate and take this photo. So he just floated his drone across the interstate and hovered over the shoulder. So that's one of the biggest safety concerns that we have is we do not want to ever have to call a loved one and say, you know, your guy got hit while he was taking photos for us because I asked him to stand on the side of a very active interstate. So that's one of the biggest safety concerns that we keep in mind. But yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest ones that we have to deal with.
Awesome, awesome. It looks like we had another question, a little bit of comments about saving the chat. It did move. It can now be found in a different spot if you're trying to save the chat. A lot of great information is being put into our chat. Sheila's asked, what does the shot list look like?
Yeah, so our shot list, we have the ground photos. They're 3 approach shots. So we have a long form approach. It depends on the roadway, of course. If there's a curve, you just want to get when that board is the most visible. We want to have that shot. So we would ask you to do 5 shots of that, of each photo style. So it would be three ground approach style. So long form approach, that's 15 photos total. So 5 of the long form. And then you would either use your zoom lens if you have one on your DSLR or your mirrorless, and you zoom in to the next one, which is a medium. You're just kind of walking closer to that board and getting a close shot. So we do that. And then we ask you to do 3 clips for our videos, 3 clips each. This is just to give us options in edit. Sometimes you're doing a 15-second video clip and not a lot of traffic went by. So we ask just for 2 more, just for a few options. And also in case for these digital boards, some of the ads, the clients would say, well, hey, can we try to avoid this ad? And luckily we have 2 other clips to choose from that may not be running that ad, if that makes sense. So for our video clips, we do pretty standard shots, manual zoom in where you're flying the drone at the face of the billboard to the center of it. And then a zoom out, you're just backing back away. Half circle. Technically this photo in the top left would also be a representation of our crosslinger shot. So he would hover the drone there and it would just be a video clip of that traffic actively going by it.
Awesome. So there's a whole checklist of the variety of shots that are required. And then once those images are taken, how does a pilot go about uploading that to your system?
So right now we use a platform called air.inc. It's similar to Google Drive or Dropbox, that kind of thing. It's just a little more friendly for users. There's no hosting on the pilot side. They upload to us to a link that we provide in the project brief. If it's a multi-panel job, each one will have its own link, so you can just upload in an organized manner. And you'll just upload straight to there. We are working on setting up a NAS system here in our office. We have the hardware here. We're just trying to get the software side set up right now. So we try not to ask our pilots to host files on their end because these files can get large with these larger projects. Worst case, if it's a huge, 600 plus face project, if it's a footprint, we could ask our pilot to send us a hard drive, an external drive. We'll dump everything and then send that back to you.
Wonderful, wonderful. It looks like John has posted something in there in answer to Roseanne. Yes? No? As long as a shot list. Okay, I don't see Roseanne's question. But as long as the shot list is executed per our request, all is well. However, we do recommend types of equipment to be on hand to complete the order. So he's put in a list of the drone being the DJI camera DSLR and an action camera like the GoPro. And you had already mentioned that you would like the 4K image or the video to be in 4K. And Just trying to keep up with everything. Sorry. Which is a good thing, right?
And to speak a
So-
little bit to, we do ask for the photos to be raw. So whatever your camera is, please shoot all the photos in raw. If you are comfortable with shooting log on your drone, that's something you're very comfortable with and you know you can do well, we welcome it. It's something that we're trying to implement more, as a little bit better color grading on our side. So we do ask that, but we understand that some pilots they may be newer to flying either a new drone or even just new to the industry. So if it's an MP4, that's certainly fine as well.
Awesome. A lot of great choices there. And so, couple of questions, but also I did actually put a message out to Jeremy to see if he would be interested in sharing his experience, but I totally get it if you don't want to. Just thought I'd throw that out there in case you didn't catch that in the chat. While we're waiting to see this, so are there areas that you are in more need at this moment?
Honestly, we just are looking to build across the entire US. I think right now, Illinois is one big state that we don't have a ton of pilots. We have a lot in Chicago, of course, but as we work further south into the state, mid-state and down, we kind of are lacking there. And then the Pacific Northwest as well. We would love to grow that network as well.
Awesome, awesome. So there's a lot of potential and opportunity for pilots to get out there and active with you. And Sheila's asked in our chat, what is the minimum mileage distance you require?
We don't. So we have some pilots in our network that say, I don't want to travel 25 further than 25 miles. It's up to you. If you put it in there, we'll keep that in consideration.
Awesome, awesome. And oh, look at there. See, when you said Chicago and Illinois, okay. Sharon said that we may be able to help with the downstate Illinois. Well, there we go. Awesome, awesome. What has been your most unique experience?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let's see.
And maybe John has one too. You know, he's silent behind the scenes here.
No, hold on now.
There we go.
I've been answering questions here in the chat.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. You've been busy on the chat. I'm sorry, I should have said that. But we want to hear your experience too.
What was the question? You said what's our most unique experience?
Yes.
I mean, when you work with billboard owners who are by nature self-starters, entrepreneurs, real estate focused, right? The out-of-home industry is so dynamic in the sense of you can't put a billboard on any corner or any street. There's a regulation, there's a barrier to entry, there's heavy competition. So it embodies the advertising aspect of our country. It embodies real estate. It embodies small business. And so it's a pretty dynamic industry. That being said, we get all types of requests, right? We've had folks ask us to climb billboards before. I kid you not, we had a guy in North Carolina ask if we would, on a very small highway, ask if we would park our car on the highway to stop traffic in order to make the billboard on camera look like it was targeting more traffic, right? And of course we said no, because that's one, illegal and also not ethical. So I guess my point is, out of home, I think, has a stereotype of being traditional. I believe it's quite the opposite on the advancements in how you can in a matter of minutes post an ad and it be seen in all 50 major US markets in a matter of minutes. I think that's a pretty pretty exciting industry to be in. And so SignBird is, I don't know if you're any baseball fans or any sports fans out there, but the first one through the wall is, there's a quote in a very famous movie, and I'm going to butcher it, but basically it says, the first one through the wall is typically the one who gets beat up the most. And that's what SignBird is. There's nothing like us out there. And so because of that, we're this exciting, pioneer, if you will, for shooting out of home on camera. And we need good people who take pride in their work, who are great to work with, who we can depend on as we grow our business. We want to help them grow their business too. We want to fill them up with as many orders and opportunities as possible. And so, my experience is, it's been great, one heck of a ride, and we've been doing this for 4 years, and I'm prepared to do it for another 40 years. So we're excited to continue and to grow.
Awesome. Awesome.
I think
Jennifer, do you have one?
I do. So I think to build off that, I've been rather lucky, I think, with a lot of these. The biggest kind of challenge I think that we've had is just coordinating. Some clients want to coordinate down to the minute that the pilot is going to be on site, or that hour that they'll be on site, so they can run certain ads, but they have an obligation to people that they've sold ad space to also. So it's a very tight window to make sure that you're getting the ads that they want shot, but not going over the time limit. So, one of their advertisers may be upset with them that maybe their ad wasn't playing right then. I think they notified them as well when that happens. And even coordinating with military bases. Our pilots sometimes have to reach out to towers, and we'll reach out as well to help. Since you're the one applying for the clearance, you do have to submit all of that information. But if we can help on our side, contact that tower for you and say, hey, they are working for us, this is what they're doing. Just coordinating down to those, like you were saying, they gave you clearance for a Sunday, and luckily that interstate was busy on a Sunday. But sometimes you get clearance on a Sunday in a small town like the one on the bottom photo, and you may not have as much traffic. And you just try to work with what you have in that situation. But I think that's the biggest. I've been really lucky. We haven't had very many huge roadblocks.
Awesome. So we are getting near the top here. And so if you have any questions or anything like that you'd like to have addressed, put them into the chat or open up the mic. And I did get a comment back from Jeremy, and I'm hoping he doesn't mind if I read it. He said that his experience was good. The locations were easy to find. You want to be aware of your surroundings. The line of sight is crucial. This is great. A line of sight is crucial to maintenance, and you'll want to find the power lines and the trees because the billboards can be near that area. He followed the shooting specs and have had no issues. Digital billboards aren't bad. Just pay attention to the shutter. Awesome tip right there too. Also, overall, a great experience. And like I said in the very beginning, just working with you has been wonderful because of your knowledge, your background knowledge of drone pilots and the hurdles that we have to go through. And so what about the hurdles that you have to go through? You've mentioned, maybe the landowner doesn't actually let you come on. How do you circumvent those hurdles?
So in those situations, we would reach out to either the owner or the manager of that property. It's very rare. Like I said, it's only happened maybe 2 or 3 to 4 times since I've worked here. And typically when the pilot says, oh, I'm working for this billboard company, they say, got it, good to go. And they go back inside. But we're always here. We're always a call away. I know this is my issues, but you're asking me to say my struggles. But if you're ever on site, I just want you to know, if you have an issue like that, or if you're there and you can't get that board to be clear, that digital board, something like that, give us a call. We're always there. Even if it's on a weekend, just call. My cell phone's on every project brief that we send out. And you just give us a ring and we'll talk you through it the best that we can with not being on site, but we have good resources there. But as far as my side, it's really just coordinating with the clients. Sometimes they'll ask for a very specific window, like, we'll say morning or evening rush hour if that client does not request a specific time. Sometimes they'll come back and say, hey, 12 to 2 in the middle of the day is the best time to shoot this board. We do have to keep an eye on, while I'm checking airspace, I've actually started also checking the path of the sun to make sure it's not washing that board out, because if it's going to be directly on, if it was the face of, say, that board on the bottom that is a majority white, that's going to blow that board clear off the off the face of the earth when you're shooting it, or the digital board, it will wash it out incredibly. And so we just make sure that that's something. So mine's more or less in the logistics of getting ready for that. Typically our clients are really easy to get along with, and they provide the great information, like the exact information you need, and it's perfect. And then while you have those clients, you have the others. So that's my biggest back and forth, is just making sure that I'm getting the information from the client and I'm making sure they're happy. And then I'm making sure that our pilots have exactly what they need, knowing, hey, here's everything you need, but you can still call if you have a question. I actually had a pilot call me this morning when I was getting ready, because we're doing an early morning shoot in Memphis. And he was just letting me know, hey, I got here. I spoke to our client, was actually meeting him there because it's a bigger project. And it was just giving me kind of the rundown of the discussion that went on there and letting me know what his plan was. And he was asking me a few questions as well. So we're always here.
Awesome. Doesn't that just sound fantastic? So if you are a drone pilot and you are interested in doing this work and working with SignBird, because they're an amazing company, there has been a link put into the chat. If you don't mind, I can put your contact information in one more time, and a link, although John put in fantastic information. He put in the link to the pilot sign up and everything in there. So just final wrap up words here. We can drop down your PowerPoint if you'd like, and just maybe do one final wrap up and just final thoughts as far as working with SignBird.
Yeah. So like we said, we're looking to grow across the entire US. Even if you are not in a major market, we need you no matter what. If you're nearby to a major market, any of that, we have these smaller jobs that come across the board. We had one in Yucca, Arizona recently. We actually ended up having to bring someone in from Las Vegas because that was our nearest pilot that would come down. And our next nearest was in Phoenix, which was, I think, 3.5 hours away. So even if you're in that random, the middle of the desert, we would love to have you on as a pilot, and we're just excited to grow.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm sorry, one more question, because you just said that. So when a pilot actually signs up, and you were saying a travel area, they put in a mileage range that they would want to do. Can they be more specific as far as, I can travel east of this or something along those lines?
You can, yeah. So it's actually, when it asks you that question, it's just a text box. So we have people say, I'll travel to this market, this market, this market. Or if you say, hey, 25 miles east of my home base, because it will ask you to put a home base in there whenever you register, to put you on our map that I think John shared just a few minutes ago. So we'll keep that in mind. We always pull up your profile and look at it and make sure that you're within those parameters that you entered. So you can be as detailed as you want to be when you enter that.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, this is so exciting, and I'm so glad that we were able to share this, and I can see your pilot network is about to expand.
That's great.
Oh, this is wonderful. So thank you so much, and thank you, John, for putting all the information in there. And it is time to
Got
wrap,
it.
but this has been fantastic.
Thank you guys so much.
Go
I
ahead,
look forward
John.
to working with you guys.
Awesome. So, John, did you want to say something?
Yeah. No,
Look
I
at him
think
thinking
Jennifer.
back. I
Yeah,
love it.
sorry, I was just enjoying it. It's been
Oh,
a
that's
great
good.
it's been a great
That's
webinar.
good.
I think Jennifer summed it up great. Very thankful to have a hardworking, innovative person, which is Jennifer House, and very thankful to have her on the team. And I think our product and our relationships with our clients speak for itself. But I think we also need to give credit where credit is due. We don't have the national and at this point continental reach without hardworking, um, ethical, arrive on time pilots who help us be a great company, and we want to grow together. This is not a parasitic relationship, it's a symbiotic relationship, and we need to treat it as such, and we need to foster good relationships, working relationships with our pilot network. And so we're very thankful for everyone who works with us, and we're also thankful for what looks like to be some great new relationships here from this webinar. And so I just want to thank you, Desi, for the opportunity for us to be on this webinar with you today.
Well, we are very thankful for you to be here and sharing with us. This is awesome. This has been wonderful. So definitely save the chat. There's been a lot of good information, a lot of great connections being made. So thank you so much. And I put SignBird's information in there. So thank you very much, Jennifer and John. Thank you for your time. And we look forward to seeing more in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. That kind of wraps it up.